When my wife passed away, I thought the hardest moment of my life was losing her. I was wrong. The hardest moment came when my son looked me in the eyes and said, "You're just an old man now. You have nothing left to offer." My late wife left behind an inheritance. My son received a $5 million penthouse in Los Angeles, and I received what everyone called a worthless, abandoned farm. My own son laughed when he saw my inheritance. He said, "Enjoy your broken farm. That's all you deserve." So I packed my things and went there alone. That night, I opened the old farmhouse door for the first time in years, and what I found inside made me realize my wife had planned everything long before she left. My name is Richard, and for 40 years, my wife Margaret and I built a simple but beautiful life together. We never had millions of dollars. We never lived in luxury. But we had something many wealthy people never find: peace. Our small home was filled with memories, the sound of our laughter, the smell of fresh coffee every morning, the conversations we had late at night about our future. Margaret was not only my wife, she was my best friend. When our son, Jason, was born, we believed he was our greatest blessing. We gave him everything we could, not expensive things, but love, education, support. We worked extra hours so he could have opportunities we never had. As Jason grew older, his dreams changed. He wanted success, money, a luxurious lifestyle. At first, I was proud of him. I thought ambition was a good thing. But slowly, I noticed something changing. Jason started measuring everything by money. He stopped asking, "How are you, Dad?" Instead, he asked, "How much is this worth?" After he moved to Los Angeles and became successful, the distance between us grew. He visited less, he called less, and every conversation eventually became about what he wanted. Then came the darkest day of my life. Margaret became seriously ill. For months, I stayed by her side. I held her hand. I watched the woman I loved fight every day. Before she passed away, she held my hand and said, "Richard, promise me you won't lose yourself after I'm gone." I promised her, but I never knew what she meant. After her funeral, the lawyer called our family for the reading of her will. Jason arrived wearing an expensive suit. He looked confident, like he already knew exactly what he would receive. The lawyer opened the documents. Jason will receive the Los Angeles penthouse property valued at approximately $5 million. Jason smiled. He looked satisfied. Then the lawyer continued, "Richard will receive the family farm." The room became silent. Jason looked confused. "The farm?" He laughed. "You mean that old abandoned place?" The lawyer nodded. Jason looked at me and shook his head. "Dad, seriously, Mom left you a broken farm." I didn't respond, because I knew Margaret had a reason. She always had a reason. But Jason wasn't finished. He leaned back and said, "I guess Mom knew you weren't capable of handling anything bigger." Those words hurt, not because of the farm, because they came from my own son, the child I had sacrificed everything for, the child I protected. Now he was looking at me like I was worthless. A few days later, I packed my belongings and drove to the farm. The place looked exactly as everyone described: old, quiet, forgotten. The paint was damaged. The fields were empty. The farmhouse looked like nobody had lived there for years. But standing there reminded me of something. This was where Margaret and I had our first dream. Before money, before success, before everything became complicated. I unlocked the door. Inside, everything was covered in dust. Old furniture, old pictures, old memories. That night, while exploring the house, I noticed something strange: a loose wooden board near the fireplace. I moved it. Behind it was a small hidden compartment. Inside was a box. My hands started shaking. The box had my name written on it. Richard. I opened it slowly. Inside were documents, photographs, and a letter from Margaret. My heart stopped. The letter said, "My love, if you are reading this, it means you have finally arrived at the farm." I continued reading. Margaret explained that years ago, she had purchased the farm secretly. But she knew something nobody else knew. The land was not worthless. A company had discovered valuable resources beneath the property. The farm was actually worth millions. But Margaret never wanted money to change our family. She wanted to know who truly cared about us. She wrote, "Money reveals people's hearts." Tears filled my eyes. She knew Jason cared more about wealth than family. The documents revealed that the farm's value had increased dramatically. The property was worth far more than the penthouse. But Margaret didn't leave it to me because of the money. She left it because she knew I would protect it. I sat there all night reading her words. For the first time since she passed away, I felt like she was still guiding me. A few weeks later, Jason found out the truth. He called me. His voice was different. Suddenly, he wanted to visit. Suddenly, he wanted to talk, but I knew why. He wasn't calling because he missed his father. He was calling because he discovered the farm was valuable. When he arrived, he looked around. This place is worth a fortune. I simply said, yes. He smiled. Dad, we should work together. I looked at him. The same son who called me useless, the same son who laughed at my inheritance, now wanted a part of it. I told him something I had learned from Margaret. Family is not proven when there is money to gain. It is proven when there is nothing to gain. Jason became quiet. For the first time, he understood what he had lost. Not the farm, not the money, but his father's trust. Sometimes life gives you something that looks worthless, but inside it is a hidden blessing. People may judge you by what you own. They may laugh at what you have. They may believe your story is over. But remember, your value is not decided by someone else's opinion. And sometimes the person who gets the smallest gift receives the greatest treasure, because true wealth is not only found in money. It is found in love, loyalty, and the people who stand beside you when there is nothing to gain.